The HTC Vive, 3 glasses virtual reality, earplugs that mold themselves to your physiology with only hot water, lady sexual aids, Windows phones that you might want to buy, Windows phones you might not want to buy, Android devices, and, well, bunch of other stuff. Don't really know exactly what to say. Shit.
You were doing so well.
I know. What was the last?
God.
What was the last bit? What was the out card?
Wait, this is a special moment. I have never seen Michael Fisher mess up the beginning of the Pocketnow Weekly.
That's because it's usually written.
Yeah, he doesn't have a
Shut up! I
by
never
the
mess
way.
up. I never mess up the intro.
Jules, just
All
let
that
this
and
be
more
part of the
was
show.
part of our CES experience.
Yeah, but I want to end on a nice button. What's the most absurd thing we've seen? It's not the lady sexual aid.
It is the
You
lady
missed the
sexual
robot
aid.
bartender.
It's the most obvious one. Robot parts.
Oh, the robot bar delivery.
There was
Yeah,
a-
that was
Oh, and
yesterday.
drones big enough. Oh, and BB-8. Yeah.
BB-8.
Yeah.
I
It's
did
not the
not
worst
take
thing
a
you've seen
photo
here.
with BB-8.
I did.
You suck.
I hate you.
Oh, I'm sorry.
too.
All right, Jules, we're doing it again. All right. The HTC Vive, 3 glasses, a new Google Glass that might not make you look dumb, Windows phones you might want to buy, Windows phones you probably won't want to buy, and lady sexual aids. Thank you, Stephen Shank. Earbuds that form themselves to your physiology with just the help of a little hot water, and BB-8. Your favorite droid, or at least mine. And if he's not yours, you're objectively wrong, as our millennial guest might say.
That's me.
It's all ahead on a special CES edition of episode 182 of the Pocketnow Weekly, the once-a-week podcast where we discuss and dissect those gadgets that glue our mobile lives together. Smartphones, tablets, wearables, pocketables, and beyond. It's all the stuff you wished existed when you were a kid. I'm Michael Fisher, reviews editor for Pocketnow, and I'm broadcasting from a funky hotel room, hotel hallway with the funkiest music there ever was in Las Vegas. CES 2016, and I have the help of the largest on-the-ground team in Pocketnow's history at this event, I think. Yep. Starting on my right with a contractor, a freelancer, a dude who's just around, so we decided to put him to work. Hayato Huseman.
What's up, fam?
What's up? Oh, it goes in. That goes in. All right, I'm still learning the millennial jive. Adam Dowd, introduce yourself.
Hey, how you doing?
Dead Technology is here, and he's keeping us real with his big hats.
I'm immersed in a virtual room, and all I can think to do is write my name.
You know that's right. Oh, yeah, we're going to talk about that first. Jaime Rivera is here, our famous multimedia manager. Say something in the pretty language.
Well, I thought you were going to... que lo hablen en español.
There you go. Not at all.
I thought you were going to say introduce yourself, and I was going to be like, all right,
Say
introducing
it.
myself.
Say it.
Jaime Rivera.
That's what people want to hear. Louder, though. Stephen Shank is here.
And I've almost felt useful this week. It's been a treat.
You've been fantastic.
I was on camera.
I know. Stephen Shank did a video. Adam Dowd did a video for the first time. Hayato Huseman did a video. No, Hayato Huseman is still building his video, ladies and gentlemen.
It's going to be worth it. You'll see.
Folks, before we go any further, Pocketnow CES 2016 coverage is made possible by D-Brand, the boss of vinyl skins for smartphones, tablets, wearables, and more. For the most precise fit on Earth, if you know what I mean, visit dbrand.com. That's dbrand.com. Full description is in the YouTube comments below.
Or something.
Yeah.
Some kind of comments.
So I feel like we have to explain the music. We're actually in a hallway of the Wynn Hotel, as I said in the intro, and there's no getting around it. But we actually kind of like the music.
It's been very confusing. It started out, we thought these were classic hits, but you listen closely, they're all nearly there, but covers, and
Yeah.
you guys missed out. They had some playing the exact same song on loop like 4 or 5 times in a row.
Oh,
You were happy.
Broken record.
I'm
You were
really
happy.
glad that
I'm
we-
actually happier about the heavy equipment that's being rolled next to
Yeah,
us.
which wasn't happening until we hit the record button in true
Exactly.
podcast form.
That's
So
the way
people
it goes.
are tuning in to listen to technology coverage, guys. I know that you're here to hear what we have to say about CES Tech. There's been a lot we've seen.
Really?
There's been a lot of
Has
stuff
there?
that we sure didn't see. And I don't know exactly how much of it we want to dwell on, because there's only been a handful of actually
Really, really interesting.
really cool.
Relevant to our listeners.
Yeah.
But I think there was enough that we can definitely get a solid podcast out.
I agree. So it's going to be shorter, though. I want to let everyone know, because we have, let's be real, we have a party to get to, and then we have to go to In-N-Out Burger. But we're at the end of a very busy week of programming, which culminated just about 15 minutes ago with the first HTC Vive experience from Jaime Rivera,
Yep.
Adam Dowd, and a little bit more Hayato Huseman exposure. Stephen
We all
Shank had
dropped
his
in this
first
week.
Vive experience last, a couple days ago.
We all vived except for Michael, who's going to vive tomorrow.
But I did Vive. I Vived in the chair.
Oh, you vived in the chair?
Yeah, I Vived in the chair.
We're vibed all over that.
I
chair.
wondered,
yeah,
I
yeah.
Not
wondered
gonna
what those
get invited
titles were for.
It was very vibrant.
Yeah, oh indeed.
Vibrant.
So let's go. I want to hear from the newcomers
Oh, God,
first.
can we please not make up any more words this week?
Yeah. Well,
Still trying to get
That
over.
word's in the dictionary.
I'm
What's
still-
wrong with you?
HTC
What's
said
the
that they're
Huawei? Mate,
No.
one of the HTC guys was telling me that the Taiwan team was trying to like verb Vive. And it's like, yeah, you want to go Vive? Yeah, let's go Vive, bro.
Yeah.
And then he was like, no, it's not going to happen.
That's actually not
But
But you,
bad.
that's
a vibe.
okay. Wait a
Even
second, but
vibe.
that's not a bad idea. We actually were talking about that. You know how Uber has become a verb.
Oh, yeah.
How Google is a verb.
Yeah.
You know, I'm just Ubering there. It would be awesome if they would figure out a way to, do the, to make it a verb.
Yeah, vibing is so fetch.
It's pretty lit, fam.
Yeah.
So I want to hear from Jaime first, because Jaime is the one who went into the room with me a year ago to try HTC Vive, and then was like, "Dude, you do it. I don't really care." And I was like, and then
Jesus, man.
for the past year, I've been like,
Yeah.
"Dude, you don't know what you missed." So I've been talking up this virtual reality set to all you guys for a whole year, and I'm really sorry because I know it probably couldn't have lived up to my promises.
No.
But Jaime,
So my biggest, my biggest concern about virtual reality was always, do you really feel that you're wearing a headset? Is it really virtual reality, or is it just something that you feel fake, but it's there? It's kind of cool. And you remember our experience last year. I mean, I kind of regret not taking it last year after seeing the way you came out. I mean, I totally denied it. Then you come out with tears in your eyes, and then I was like, all right, fine, let me try it, and there was no space for me. So I honestly loved it. They did their job. They did their job right. I was completely immersed in the product. There came a moment where, and I was telling you this, you completely forget that you have something on your head. Yeah. It's not light. It is a heavy product. They have
They
improved
made some
the
real
design.
improvements though with the new strap on there.
It has a new strap. It's actually a little lighter. They told me
yeah, it is lighter.
it is a little lighter.
This is the Vive Pre.
Exactly. So they've made some changes to the ergonomics. I still feel when you put it on, it does feel heavy, but there comes a point where you're just so immersed by the content, you completely forget that you're wearing it, up to the point where you're not concerned about what people think of you while you're doing something stupid in front of them.
Maybe we should be.
No. I want to see the recordings. I totally do.
No, you will. We
I
took
totally
so
do
much
wanna see the
video of
recordings.
Jaime and the Vive. It was great.
And I'm sure that was hilarious.
Yeah.
It's just you totally you're in the product. That one where you're fixing the robots.
Yes.
When
When you're repairing the robot, you're like taking components out of the robot, putting other ones
I
back in.
felt that we were. I felt that we were playing
Aperture
Portal.
Sensor,
yeah.
It looked identical to Portal.
Yeah, and well, it was. It was from the same guys.
Yeah, obviously, it's a version of Portal.
I ran into some trouble on that one because it felt like iCapt has this new thing now where you get too near a wall and you see this blue overlay. It's warning you when you're getting near a physical boundary. And the boundaries of the virtual space were lining up so tightly with the real world.
Yeah.
Every time I approach the drawer to interact with it, I'm like, can I do this? We're gonna punch a hole in the drywall.
Yeah, I had the same problem.
But I'll tell you this much. You remember that I told you this. Well, one of the enhancements that they did to this Vive was add the camera.
Yes.
There's
Right,
a frontal
you can peek
camera
out.
now.
There's a single front camera.
There's a
mounted
single
right in
front
the center
camera.
of the
So, for
Vive.
example, you remember when they were setting us up? There was actually an image of. I could actually see you guys if
Even
I
though you had
lifted the
helmet on.
controller.
Yeah.
So what? You lifted the left controller and like
pressed
pressed
the
the
button on
button,
it, right.
and then you had a window.
You had a
in the
window,
virtual
and it's
space
pretty
to
much
see.
what you see through
picture
the
in picture.
camera.
And you can move that window around, right?
Exactly. You can move it around. But another cool thing is, as you approach the grid, it's no longer just the grid. I could see Hayato, for example, filming me. I could
Yeah,
see
you
a,
get, like,
like
wireframe.
like a silhouette of Hayato with the camera.
And your hands and stuff too.
Oh.
So it's a
Yes.
silhouette, okay. 'Cause
Okay.
I didn't get to actually see anybody through the camera when I tried it, 'cause they didn't give me the controllers or anything. They just strapped the thing on me
Yeah.
at Pepcom.
Yeah, but you have to
And-
remember at PepCon we weren't allowed to move. That was the problem.
Yeah,
Well,
that was.
you can move a little bit. You can
Yeah,
turn
but
around.
it wasn't that complete. So
Yeah.
that's the thing. Like, for example, you saw that. I don't know who it was, if it was Adam or it was you, Michael, but I signaled to somebody like, I can see you.
Yeah.
And that I like that, because even though the idea is to make it immersive, it does strap you to the floor and remind you that it is virtual reality and it is necessary.
I'm going to
That
let
gives you a
Dowd jump
quick
in on
out.
that. Yeah. Oh, I was going to say, because you were talking about the cable. Dowd, the first thing Dowd
Oh, yeah.
said to me when he saw Jaime hooked up was like, I hope Jaime doesn't trip on that cable.
Yeah, well, because it was looped around your
Okay,
foot
but
at
let
the
me
time.
ask you, what happened to the cable? There came a point where I was like, where the hell is the cable? I was
You
like,
stepped over it.
at first I remember I was like, I have a braid on my head. I could feel it at my back,
Right.
and then
Like
at
an
some
Avatar
point,
guy or
and then at
something.
some point I just stopped feeling the cable.
Now, see, when I was doing my demo, the person that was conducting the demo for me actually tripped over my cable and
Did you see it?
No.
Did they fly in the air?
No, what I saw was blackness because he actually pulled the cable out of the computer.
Oh my god!
So, which I don't want to move. We'll
I want to
address
hear.
this.
No, I want to hear. I do want to hear this because we have to keep it tight. So
It is incredibly immersive, and I agree with that. But the reality is that it's not going to be a great experience until you're not tied to a computer. It needs to be a self-contained unit because
True.
I was tripping over the cable. While I was very, very conscious of the cable as I was doing these little games. And that's just not the case with some other.
But I was
some other
mentioning this to
headsets.
the HTC guys. I can totally envision. So you sort of have to set aside a space to do this. You want to do this on the regular. You want to have a
Yeah, you
clear
need a
room
game
in your
room. You gotta
house.
have a Vive room.
game
Yeah,
room,
you
yes.
set these sensors up. I can totally imagine someone putting like a spring arm in the middle of their ceiling that like holds the cable, drapes it to the computer, so they can walk around without tripping on it.
Oh,
you know people are going to do
Interesting.
this.
Yeah, there are going to be some awesome custom Vive rigs.
Yeah.
But Dad, your point is well taken, though. Like, I mean, it's not something that a lot of other VR headsets have to worry about because even though they do have cables, some of them, like the 3 glasses one that I tried, you're sort of not expected to walk around with it. You stand in front of your computer and you look
Yeah.
around when you need to and whatever.
And that's what I was about to say. I mean, I feel I'm going to cut HTC slack with this because, and everything else just doesn't compare.
That's my thing.
There is no room for comparison. So it's clear that if you want that level of high quality experience, you need to be hooked up to a computer's processor.
And
I get it right now.
And I would say it's very important to use it in the standing orientation because I just used it playing Elite Dangerous
Yeah, it's not
in a
the
chair.
same.
And playing Elite Dangerous in a chair is great. You can look around the cockpit of your spacecraft and the joysticks move in the
Dude,
virtual world.
I love that
But at
game.
the same time, though, I could get the exact same experience. I think
Sitting in front of a
Sitting in
TV.
front. No. Using Oculus Rift.
Oh,
You know,
okay.
no, I don't think you can. Like, for me, it was. I actually found the sitting more immersive than the standing. Not
Really?
Yeah, because it was frustrating that I couldn't move around. It kind of took away from the experience a little bit, and I wish that there was something I could do with my feet at that point because it kind of takes away from the realism.
I was just
So I'll tell you this much. I was not sold on wanting to buy the Vive when I did the first demo. It wasn't
was the
until not there, not here in the whole thing that we did. I was still
No.
like, okay, I can't afford a game room. I'm not gonna just have a room and set things up and go play with this thing. It's not until we went to play that game sitting down that I was like, all right, now I get it.
Really?
Yes. And why?
But
I'll,
yeah, if you can pay $600 for an Oculus Rift and get basically the same experience, I think.
the question is, can you? I haven't played with the Oculus
I
Rift.
think you can. I think the
haven't
Rift is really good for that kind of
and
use
that's going to be
case.
the question. And that's going to be the question.
Yeah.
Obviously, the price tag is going to say everything, but it's to counter your point about the TV. No, it's not the same because it's that moment when you're like you're in space,
Yeah.
you're moving your head up, and you are looking for your
Through
targets.
your canopy,
You're looking for your targets around you because
Right.
your radar is telling you that they're down there. So it's that moment where you're like, all right, you can't do this on a TV.
I feel that
This
really
is a-
limits the kind of game that you're going to interact with.
It-
You're
it
talking
does. It
about
absolutely
driving
does,
things.
yeah.
Or maybe like you have a stationary bike and you pop this on and you're going to Tour de France or something, but you're not going to have sort of immersive worlds.
Oh my God! But that is going to be such a cool game.
Wouldn't that be neat?
Just think about it. I mean, it's the common thing for bikers, professional bikers, to have their bikes stationary with a lift at the back so that they can practice for miles.
Sure, but
if they could
like-
put that thing on their heads and just cycle.
Yeah.
For a 1 hour workout
Yeah.
and choose where they want to cycle.
You know,
Like
cycle
today,
down,
today
down,
we're going to do
down,
this.
down.
But that's VR in general. Once again, that
Right.
exact
It's the
that
position
exact
tracking
model
that makes Vive so
the
great.
stationary bike with the VR headset is
That's
exactly
Oculus.
what I saw at 3 Glasses. Like they had that over there.
Oh, really?
So, yeah. So you don't need a Vive for that. I think the thing that makes Vive impressive to me is the fact that you can move around.
Oh,
and,
yeah,
like, walk
true.
across the room, grab something
True.
in the virtual space, and
True.
Yeah,
No,
I
agreed.
really think that at least my opinions are going to have to be held slightly in check until I have had a chance to try an Oculus Rift, because I really think
Agreed.
that that's probably going to be the closest competitor.
Yeah.
So we just gotta kind of see who's doing what right.
I want to hear, what did you guys think of the controllers? Because this is new.
I didn't like them.
They were neat. I thought
I
they were
didn't
cool.
like them. I feel that they either have to be smaller.
They were really big.
I felt that they were too big. I feel that you remember the days of the Power Glove back in
I was
Nintendo.
going to say, why not do gloves?
Why
It
not
seems
do
like the obvious
gloves?
thing.
I mean,
That would be nice, because in Elite Dangerous, when you see your hands on the controls, you can see them move, but only after you've pressed a button. 'Cause
Exactly.
Otherwise, how does it know? It doesn't
right.
know. It doesn't know your
You
hands
know
are
what?
moving.
And there's one other thing about the Oculus experience that, and every other headset that I've ever tried, that hasn't been adequately addressed. And with the Oculus, you can wear your glasses if you want, so Steven's good to go. I wear reading glasses. I can't read anything. My eyes are surgically repaired so that they're pre-focused to 6 feet away. So when I was trying to draw and I was trying to use the little tool thing,
You couldn't read.
I couldn't read any of the tools.
But that's something they could correct with lenses in the headset. Like, did you try adjusting the little knob on the side? You get some degree of play. I use my glasses with this. I think I'd be happier if I didn't, though.
Really?
And
Okay.
I know that, you might need
But the
some
thing
add-on
is-
lens pack. They could address this.
I don't know if they're going to be able to build in like bifocal capability, though. I think that's going to be really hard to address. And granted, I'm an edge case.
Or they could
but
sell the
still.
adapter, like create an adapter and just give people the option. I don't think that's impossible.
Well,
So we've only used it.
Or they could make it software based. They could make
Right.
it to the point where you can how do you
Enable-
say calibrate?
enable
You
old
can
guy mode.
calibrate.
When we're talking about focusing and stuff, one thing I found kind of odd was I never, up close, the 3D effect is really great, but I never got a really pronounced sense of infinite depth. In an aperture science thing, when you're looking off into the warehouse, I see this room, it looks very far away. I know it's supposed to be there, but I didn't get the sense that I'm looking across a vast expanse.
No,
here.
I did.
And there's one other
I
thing.
did get that impression up to the point where I was like, I need guns. Lots of guns.
I didn't do the sit down one with the flying, but I think there's one other thing that at least has been common in my experience with virtual reality, is that it's still a little bit cartoony. It's still a little Jar Jar for me.
It's got a ways to go. I mean, you can definitely, I know Steven kind of complained about this before when he tried it. You can still see the pixels fairly
Okay,
easily.
but
they had
for
a
the
higher
record,
res
Yeah,
you guys
but-
weren't at this, but I was at this. Since I was at the AT&T developer conference,
Mm-hmm.
they have a demo of what happens if you text and drive. It's a sort of a conscience way to tell people, and they put you in a car and they put you through the whole simulation of driving, and that does not look like a computer game.
Right.
That
Okay.
looks like the real deal.
Wasn't that shot on video, though?
No, not necessarily, unless they use the 3D camera. It's possible.
Which they probably
A
did.
360-degree
Yeah.
camera, sure.
Yeah.
It's possible. I'm not saying it's not. What I'm saying is, I think that's the purpose, that it should look like a game, and I feel that they do it. I'm sure that there is enough technology right now for them to make it look as real as possible. The question is, what happens to the user when it looks just too
And
real?
really, this isn't necessarily on Vive's end either. We have the Vive hardware, GPUs getting better,
Yes.
games getting better a couple years from now. It's going to keep looking more and more real.
Now,
Exactly.
to be fair, I did say every headset that I've used, because the HoloLens looks very cartoony too. The game that they played where the
bugs.
aliens burst out of the wall,
Yeah.
and we even saw this on the Microsoft demo. Is those bugs that came flying out? They looked cartoony too.
Well, but
Sure.
remember, that's augmented reality.
But I don't know.
But
Like,
still.
and that was
this is a
that-
whole new category.
Okay,
Like,
wait a
listen,
second.
I'm gonna be totally fine if we want to criticize graphics on a regular console game, wow, Grand Theft Auto needs to go another step, and
True.
it's just
Oh,
gonna
it's
look
new.
like a movie. But this is an entirely new platform, so I'm okay. No matter what the VR platform we're talking about is, I am okay
It's
if
developing.
it's a
That's
little
it.
bit.
That was the point I was trying to make. It's
cartoony.
not there
And
yet.
the graphics weren't, it wasn't perfect and convincing of being real, but at the same time, you play it for a little bit, play it for a couple minutes,
You
and even if you can
forget.
see
You don't
it,
care.
you
It's
forget.
still- yeah.
You totally forget you're wearing a headset.
I
There
had
came
to-
a point where
Yeah,
I
what
was
was
like,
your experience?
I had to stop because the game we played, it was you are controlling a starship basically, and you're shooting it at other ships in the sky. And I had to stop playing after a while, even though I was trying really hard to blow up one of the ships. I couldn't do it because I felt like I was gonna throw up, and I actually
Dude,
had
my,
to
my adrenaline
physically
was
stop.
pumped with that game.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I would just
My
get motion
adrenaline was
sickness, man.
pumped.
Well,
I
and
really
I
liked
use-
it. Oh, by the way, before I forget something, the guy did we know this? I mean, did we know that adaptation of the camera on the Vive will now allow you to do augmented reality stuff as well?
No, I didn't.
No,
Because
no
that's
VI
one
for
thing.
that?
That's one thing he told me. He's like, the purpose of this camera is in the future there are plans for this to be for augmented reality as well.
That's good. You know, that was a good move on their part.
Yeah.
it
So
really
now
should.
it's not
Yeah.
just virtual reality. You can actually do things in an existing space.
You just never have to take it off, really. Just leave it on,
just
get
leave
an
it on.
extension cable,
Get it
walk
nice
around
and
the house.
sweaty on that
Oh,
band
yeah.
right?
That would be great.
Let's go around. We have to move on, but I want to go around and get everyone's sort of summation of this really tight.
Okay.
Hayato, why don't we start with you? Your Vive experience in a few words.
It was really, really impressive, and it was probably the best virtual reality experience I've ever had.
Now, knowing that the Oculus Rift is going to be $599 and is up for pre-order now,
Yeah.
what do you think the Vive is going to be priced at?
Given that it's got a bit more involved hardware between the controllers and the sensors that you put in the corners of your room, I would say it's the minimum I would expect is $1,000.
Christ.
All
Very
right,
minimum.
Dowd?
Neat, but flawed, but developing. So I would say it's probably going to get better soon.
What do you think the price is going to be?
Whatever it's going to be, it will be too high for me.
Yeah. Remember, HoloLens dev kits are like what?
Yeah, they're like $3,000.
1,500.
That's a different
are they?
class, though.
For the
I
HoloLens?
gotta
Yeah.
believe.
Yeah, well, the HoloLens isn't a competing product. We talked about this a little bit
Yeah.
off the air.
No.
But Oculus Rift is $599. That's the competing product.
Yeah,
here.
that's going to be the competing product, and therefore I think HTC is going to have to keep the price down, so probably about $1,200.
In
you
my
think of
case, I have to agree that I have not tested the Oculus Rift, so I do get Adam's point. I have to go test it. But so far, with Hayato, this has been the best VR experience ever, up to the point where I forgot I was wearing the damn thing. Up to the point where when I tested the Starship, I was like, all right, if this thing cost $1,000, I could even pay $1,500 for this thing. I would seriously pay for it. I would. And I feel that it's going to be around that range. I feel that because of how complete the product is,
Yeah.
I feel that it's a complete product. I feel that they really smoked it up well.
Yeah.
So that's the price for me, $1,500.
Yeah, the flaws that it
Hold on,
has...
wait. What about Steven? Sorry.
I was really impressed, despite all of the misgivings you may have seen in my editorial. I wish they pushed the hardware a little further. They nailed it on the software side. That said, I just can't live with this pricing we're hearing about. I mean, even the Oculus Rift at $600 is instantly out of range for me. If we were talking $350, yeah, I would accept that even with some lower end things. But
Especially with what you can do with cardboard,
I know,
right, Steven?
but it's just not worth it. My computer probably costs $400 total. I'm just not willing to make that investment.
Well, and there is a competing product out there that I looked at that I won't talk about, but there's the 3 glasses thing that's $399. So there are these companies coming into the virtual
Right, and
reality
I'm really
space at
hoping
lower price points.
we get these second-gen models in a couple years, and then people trading up, maybe let the old hardware go used. Then I can get it for $500 for Vive. Then we're talking my speed.
No, and you have to remember, I mean, how long did it take Oculus to launch a consumer product?
Yeah.
It was 3 years.
2012, the first
Yeah,
dev.
there's a
3
lot of
years.
development
But
time on
I
this.
also think that the other thing, especially in my case, is, I've got a Google Cardboard. I've used it a couple of times. I put it up on a shelf, and I probably won't touch it again anytime soon.
I completely
It's just
agree. I
VR,
completely agree.
VR, the Vive, even the HoloLens, it's not that important to me.
But
No,
it's
but
important to
here's the
people,
thing: you
but it's
have a
not
Google
important to me.
Cardboard in your house, but you
don't
to
have a
use the Google
controller.
Cardboard for if you're using actual cardboard, it's like you are literally holding cardboard to your face.
Right.
Like it is a cheap,
Like, it's a duct
really
tape,
low
it's
end
easy.
VR experience.
I get it.
And even with the Gear VR, even though that one was like held it to my head, I was like, I agree. I was the same way. I was like, 45 minutes with this. All right, I'm never going to use this again.
But did you
care.
but did you use the controller?
No, with the Gear VR?
Because that's
No, I
the
didn't.
thing. For me, remember, when we were at MWC last year, I
Yeah,
tested it with a controller.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, this combo I could buy. And that's my point with the Vive. The Vive is worthless without the sensors or without the controllers. You're being sold a complete experience, and
Yeah.
therefore you don't have that moment where you just test it out and don't feel the full experience.
Right.
Because I feel that the thing about VR is without the controllers, you're not doing anything.
And I've heard the argument that like true gamers aren't going to want a 2-controller setup or like a new thing. But
I'm
I
sure that
don't
whoever
buy
said
into
that didn't test the Vive.
Probably not.
So, for the kind of money we're talking about here, I mean, I love gaming, and I'm constantly feeling like I wish I had more time to be playing games. And this is on my relatively low-end system. If I invested $1,500 into something, I'm feeling all the time, I've got to find more time to be using this to get my money's worth out of it.
Oh yeah, and I mean that's the basic consumer principle: is the cheaper it is, the more likely it is to be discarded.
Yeah.
So.
All right, we've got to move on.
Please.
VR is something that we could talk about for a very long time because it is the most exciting thing that I've seen here.
No, and it's something that we will be talking about for a long time.
Yeah.
It's an emerging field, and it's very related to mobile as well. So it's definitely within our
We
wheelhouse.
come to CES, we see 8K 96-inch TVs. That's really neat, but it's just an extension of something we already have. This is a whole new ballgame for everyone.
That's a very good point, Stephen. Indeed. I mean, it's not like something you can already compare to what you have at home.
I mean, yeah, you might have cardboard, but this is night and day.
No,
Yeah.
this is
Yeah,
night and day.
yeah.
This is night and day.
So-
There's no room for comparison.
Getting back to something, let's ease into let's make the conventional stuff last. I want to hear about this other, not virtual reality, but augmented reality concept that you checked out, Adam Dowd, with I think Hayato, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And Steven maybe.
No.
Steven there.
Well,
Okay.
mega props to Hayato for his wonderful filming and editing job because.
What is this product? 'Cause
this is-
you were wonderful on video, sir.
Well, thank you. This is a Smart Optics is a new startup that was basically spun out of the Zeiss group, the same Carl Zeiss that makes, that's known for their optics. Most relevant to us is, in the Lumia models, they do the lenses. But this is smart glasses, and I came across these at PepCon, and I was so excited. I didn't run because, let's face it, I'm fat. But I walked very fast between their booth. I scampered from their booth
With your
straight
cane.
back to the table. I didn't have the cane yet, and I said, guys, you need to go see this right now because it's great. And what it is basically it's a curved glass.
By the way, I think they've turned up this god awful music, so
They probably have.
Give me more
It's,
volume there.
Dance
It's a-
with me.
It's a curved glass smart glasses, and what it does is it uses a Fresnel lens that's built into the lens of basically a normal pair of glasses, and it can display a full color. I want to say they said 780p, or 720p, but don't quote me on that.
Okay.
But you can get this full colored image on this little square that's in your glasses, and the compelling part about this is this is basically Google Glass, but without the Borg implants. It's
They just look like regular glasses, don't they?
they look like chunky glasses.
Okay.
Which, the Wall Street people, the 99%, who are the Occupy Wall Street people, will love.
Is that a jab at hipsters there?
It is hipsters. Thank you.
I don't think that. All right, never mind. We don't have time to talk.
Can we not analyze my comedy on this podcast?
Yeah. Just make it better, and we won't.
All right. Well, that's a fair point. How
long do we have?
No, so they're chunky glasses, but they're still
Real
just
quick, though.
glasses.
Real quick though, I think something that a lot of people missed in your video is that it's not a pair of glasses that they're offering. The product is not a specific pair of glasses. The product is actually the lens itself.
That is an important distinction.
So
They're not
Zeiss
in
is
the
wanting
business
it
of
to-
building the glass.
This is
They're
a
not making the
reference
glasses.
piece of hardware, is what you're saying.
Yeah, I mean, Zeiss wants to offer this eventually, and essentially what Adam said in his video is they want to offer it as, say, you go to get a pair of glasses, you can get either prescription glasses or you can get these.
Or
get
both.
Right, you
smart
get
glasses.
scratch protection, UV resistance, and a freaking computer in there.
Right, exactly. And that's exactly what it is. And it's projecting this image onto this Fresnel lens. How it's going to be delivered is going to be completely up to the manufacturer, whether it's going to be Bluetooth, whether it's going to be Wi-Fi. Now, that is a little concerning because the reference hardware that they were using was hardwired. Actually, I think one of them
No, it
was
was
one
just
of them was
charging.
Bluetooth. wasn't it?
They just had them charging off of USB. There was no wire.
Right, but I mean, as far as transmitting the image from the smartphone to the glasses, I think one of them was wireless. So there's going to be additional hardware that an OEM is going to install into the frames.
It sounds like the impressive part here is the display itself and how it's so integrated into the glass.
It's integrated and it's completely unobtrusive. And it's unobtrusive to someone that's talking to you, and it's unobtrusive to you yourself, because when you're not looking at it, it's gone.
Yeah.
This isn't a piece of plastic that's floating out in front of your face. When you look away from it, it's not there.
And in order to see it, you have to look down at the bottom half of the lens.
You have to look wherever the OEM decides.
You have to train your eyeballs to wherever the sector is.
So it's like the function of a bifocal, pretty much.
Sort of, yeah.
It's discreet almost to a fault in terms of your own usability, because it's actually really difficult to find that sweet spot to actually see it.
Yeah.
But once you do, it's very, very functional.
But there's two keys here to remember. Is one, that this is the first smart glasses that's based on a curved lens. So they can make these into prescription lenses. There's no other smart glass technology that can do that yet. So that's the first point. The second point is the location. What they're selling is they're actually making a very large lens. It's actually about, the reference hardware that showed us is about 5 inches in diameter. And an OEM can cut that to whatever specification they want. So they can have the screen, if you will, the Fresnel element, they can put that anywhere they want within a glass lens. If you want to cross your eyes to look at it, you can.
Okay.
If you want to look off to the left, you can. You can put it basically anywhere you want.
So one question, is that the projection, is it visible from the other side, from the other person?
No, it is not.
That's really cool. That's cool, and also it'll be interesting to see if manufacturers of these glasses put an LED in.
put like a notification.
Yeah, like the new Google Glass has. It has an LED when the recording function is activated.
They're gonna be like, why are you crossing your eyes?
There's probably going to be some legislation on that.
Why are you
actually,
crossing
here
your
in the
Bear
States.
in mind, there is no camera element part of this. This is
Right.
just a display.
Right.
So, I mean, a camera element could be
an
included,
OEM could
potentially.
build in it, but at this
Yes.
point, it's not part of the spec.
But that's not part of the.
That's
Carl
called,
Zeiss
what's it called again? Remind
vision.
everybody what it's called again.
It's called, the company's called Smart Optics.
Okay.
And
it's-
it's basically smart glasses is what they're calling it.
And with Zeiss as a partner.
Yeah, Zeiss is, this is a startup that was spun off of Zeiss, but their press release was very clear to make it clear that this startup, this Smart Optics, is going to have access to all of the Zeiss resources, all their experience.
So they ain't messing around.
They ain't messing around. This
Right.
is not a. This is
sir.
not your typical. This ain't your daddy's startup.
Nice. I've got Jaime Rivera is going to be penalized because he's texting, so he has to tell us about his favorite watch now.
Oh,
So we to give you some background, we saw this was like the first day or day 1 or 2. We saw Casio announce an Android Wear watch. We're like, okay,
Well, at least it's something.
another Android Wear watch, but okay, we'll go see it.
Did you go see it?
And I did go see it, and I was like, oh, this is a chunky mofo. It's massive. But I think that it's an interesting watch nonetheless because it's running some pretty cool software, isn't it?
So the thing about this watch is that it's Android Wear, but it's like if it was an Android Wear. First of all, Android Wear has the protocol where there's only one button in Android Wear, for example. This is like more or less that LG watch Urbane that you can use to make phone calls, where it has 3 buttons, it has an external sensor, and this is really a rugged outdoors watch. This is like something Adam Dowd. What?
It's a beefy MO.
Okay, so you have to remember, this thing is pretty much like an extension of the G-Shock. It is designed to be beefy, and it has a purpose for being beefy. Because this thing has it has the usual accelerometer, gyro, and everything, but it's got a full altimeter. It's got
Barometric pressure sensors.
It's got a these are the sensors that you get on your phone.
Does it have a compass? Sorry.
It has a compass.
It is.
I hope so.
Okay.
I think
GPS.
that
It has a compass.
Casio's company who's making it is really important here, because we look at Moto 360, we judge it for being chunky. We're used to these G-Shock watches being really robust,
Right.
so it fits in nicely.
Okay,
with
but
the
this is
existing
like the
lineup.
most chunky G-Shock watch you've ever
chunky
seen.
and
So this
chunky.
thing is the biggest watch you've ever seen, like seriously.
Yeah.
But then again, I don't know if it's still in style, but I would see people in their 20s with these huge watches.
Yeah, but it's not just big, like big and fancy. It's big and like then rubberized on top of that. So it's obviously meant for like
It's
hiking.
Okay, so,
It's
here's the thing.
Yeah.
Okay, so here's the thing. Before everybody, so I wrote it off because I saw it was Android Wear. I've been testing the Moto 360 Sport, and it's not really that good at sports. They've sent me a replacement unit. I'm going to be reporting on that because
Like
the first
Moto
one.
360 lies.
Well, right. But the point that I'm trying to make is this. Forget about the fact that it runs Android Wear. The proprietary applications that Casio provides are completely unique. You know, both the compass user interface, both the altimeter user interface, the barometric pressure user interface.
And I really like the timekeeping mode.
It does that?
So wait a second.
What do you use that for?
So for example, if you press your palm on the display, it turns off and it looks monochromatic. It looks black and white pretty much.
So it like transmutes it into a transflective display.
Exactly, but
almost.
that's just one of the modes. If at some point the watch runs out of battery, it'll turn off the Android Wear portion and remain working as a watch that can work like that for a
That's
month.
pretty hot.
for like a month, for 30
For a
days,
month.
right? So when your Android Wear watch dies, as has happened
Yeah.
to I think all of us, it'll still tell the time. That's just like a Martian notifier.
Exactly. And then the second thing is, you know, aside from the fact that it's a it doesn't have a heart rate sensor, which I was a little bummed out about that. It doesn't, so you can't really use it much for fitness, though it does have a GPS. You can go running with it. But what was the other? I'm trying to remember. There was one other cool thing about this watch.
It comes in 4 colors. I'll tell you that's a cool
It comes in 4 colors. We couldn't get information on its processor. Apparently,
right.
So the other thing that I like so they tell me, okay, this is pre-release software. So first of all, it's running Android Wear 1.4, which is the mode that allows.
Well, it's the Marshmallow version of Android Wear, right? Which allows
6.0.1,
which allows for voice calling.
Yes,
and
even
such.
though this thing, it does have a speaker, but it doesn't have the mode for making phone calls.
Okay.
But what I did like about it is that it was snappy.
Yeah, it was responsive.
It was really fast, regardless if it was, you know, pre-release software. I'm like, what processor is this? And they're like, it's a Casio processor.
So it's homegrown.
It's homegrown.
Who told you that though? Was it like a booth?
No,
person, or was
both
it
the PR rep
department?
and the booth.
Okay.
And the booth
All right.
person.
So, all right.
It's a very small hamster
Yeah.
on a teeny tiny wheel.
This is a cool. I want to see this on Pocketnow Fitness because
Yeah,
I want to.
yeah.
It's not that it's like a fitness accessory, but that's another thing. We're going to be getting the full review of the HTC Health Box from you, which I have not been able to talk about on this show. But we'll wait. We'll make that wait because that wasn't. It was a CES announcement, but
It was a CES
I
announcement.
feel like we should devote some time to it, and we all haven't dealt with that. I've only dealt with it, so I'll record a separate show and talk to myself about it. So
Alright.
we'll. I want to hear your experience with the Casio watch because I think that's a totally you thing.
It is.
I think that'd be good. Except I would love to go hiking because now that I have the Go 10 up from Jules, I can go into the wilderness.
Dude,
that's open
I
in the
mean,
cave.
I feel that this is a product, it has a niche.
Yeah.
You know, so for example, within the training modes, it's got a training mode for fishing, for example.
What the hell do you need that
Exactly, that was my point. I was
For
like,
casting?
okay,
Like what?
dude, it has a training mode for fishing. It has a
golf
training
thing or
mode.
something?
It has a golf. No, it didn't have a golf mode, but
That's
it
an
does.
over- tennis?
It does have a cycling mode. It has a fishing mode.
Yeah.
It's
I
got
know.
a hiking mode, and these are all completely
They're
different.
gonna
It's got
totally
a running
sell
mode.
these at.
But I gotta work on my backhand.
What's the name of that country department store that everyone buys
Oh,
their fishing
Gander
supplies
Mountain?
at? What?
Gander Mountain?
No, that big
No,
old
I know what you
big box
mean.
store, Bass Pro Shops.
Yeah, Bass
They're gonna
Pro.
sell this
Yeah.
watch at Bass Pro Shops. All right, we got to move on. Thank you, Jaime. I'm glad you went to go hands on with that sucker.
Yeah.
Let's. We promised a weird little thing. Can you tell us really quickly, Stephen, what it's like to have really hot, mildly hot wax put in your ear and
Oh my God.
gradually adjust to your head shape?
Yeah, we took a look at these earbuds from Decibullz that have a thermoplastic material they're made of. You put them in hot water, it becomes soft, you squish it up in your ear, and after a couple minutes it hardens and it forms the shape of your ear canal, so you get sound isolation, nice good fit. They're supposed to stay in really, really well. It was weird though, because I'm not usually a guy who likes really, really tight earbuds. I like to hear the world around me.
Right.
So that alone was a little weird, but if you're into really well-fitting earbuds, this might be a good option for you.
Yeah, no, I mean, when you were standing there, we watched you do it, but there was
I
a
looked
lot
super
of...
uncomfortable, didn't I?
No, you actually looked like you were having a good time. Which was odd. You know what I love about these? Miriam
too much of a
Chouar
good
was
time.
checking these out at the same time we were. And
Yeah.
Miriam
Oh,
made the
right,
point
she had a
that
problem.
these are not, well, she made the point that these are not a one-of-a-kind product, though. Another company a couple years ago released some earbuds that also form the shape of your ear, but they do it with an electric charge.
Oh, and you can
And-
always get something like this custom made from like a professional audiologist, but you're going to pay out
That's
the nose
super
doing
expensive,
so.
and the ones Miriam was talking about, you can only do it once. If you mess it up,
Oh,
like,
yeah,
they're
please.
permanently that shape.
You don't like them, if it's not quite right, you put them back in the hot water, smush them in your ear again, and give it another
That's what
shot.
I loved about
Hot
these. Like,
water
you didn't...
or electricity.
This is what I'm saying.
Take
Like,
your pick. Wait a minute.
like, what an easy pitch to make to consumers, right? Where it's like, yeah, they're $50 or whatever, but you take these home, you put them in hot water, and then put them in your ear, and they are made for your ear.
Yeah.
It was gross when you took them out of your ear, and I could see the inside of your, like, what the inside of your ears look
Okay,
like.
but wait a second. $50 is not bad.
No, it's not. But the Bluetooth ones are about like I think they were going to say like $119.
But
or
it's
something.
still $119. I mean, think about it.
But
Like,
you go on the
for fitted
Indiegogo, they're like
earbuds.
90 or
Yeah.
something.
But,
for the
but here, so
wireless.
here's the thing. Within the Pocketnow
Yeah.
Fitness, we have a lot of review samples of headphones.
Yeah.
And I guess the best fitting headphones in my experience are still Bose. And those don't go below $200 if you want them, the ear hook and everything.
Right.
So I mean, $120 for Bluetooth, that is good.
Now, I realize it's a little low tech, but especially considering the close quarter sleeping situation the Pocketnow crew has had this week, you can also get a just earplug version of this. So if you're around someone who is a heavy
Sawing
sleeper,
logs
so
a little bit.
yeah.
That I
Really?
really appreciate.
That would
We
be
do
good.
not have that problem in this show.
No, you're right. No, we all sleep like babies.
Let me,
Like,
let,
very
let me tell
quietly.
you something. I went to bed the other night, and I thought that a generator had been turned on or something. there was this noise that would come back every 3-5 seconds. I was
And
wondering,
which
what
was
the-
surprisingly regular, wasn't it?
It was.
We are
I was
healthy
sitting there,
folks.
what the hell
Thank
is
you.
this sound? And then it takes me about 10 minutes to realize this noise I've been listening to the whole time is either Jaime or Adam.
No, it was Jaime, because I had the same
God.
thing.
It was Adam.
I sleep. I sleep with a box fan at night, and when I
White noise is good.
spent my first night in the hotel room with Jaime,
that's
that regular snoring was actually just like a box fan for me. So it was perfect.
Jaime was your white noise. I love it.
You could not hear me because you were playing in the Navy on
In
your
the
tablet.
Navy.
We saw this. We didn't report on it, but we saw it at CES Unveiled. I think an alarm clock. Speaking of sleep, that wakes you up with smells.
The smell thing?
rather than sounds.
Did we
So,
see that?
I saw it.
I read
don't know if you
the
saw
bit
it.
on it. I didn't get to see
Oh no,
it.
I'm sorry. You were busy not looking after my camera, which
So-
got
Oh, yeah.
stolen
So-
on the
so-
first day of frickin'
So wait a
CES.
second. You start smelling bacon?
No, legit.
And-
You can
Or like
program it with
cinnamon
bacon
rolls.
or coffee or oranges.
I don't know. I
think.
didn't get the details on it.
You can like
There's
load different
cartridges?
cartridges
How long
into
do
it.
they last?
That's
I
just
don't
gonna
know.
make me hungry when I wake
This
up.
is no, and that's exactly my beef with this because it's like great. That's a really wonderful way to wake up. I love it. But then I wake up and I'm smelling coffee and I don't have any coffee. Like, I have to go make it.
I mean,
You know what's a
sucks.
really good way to smell coffee in the morning? Make some coffee.
Make some coffee. No, I know. No, but I love the idea. I just wish the alarm clock was like, a replicator that would like make the thing that that.
Or
it's
if the cartridge could somehow
exuding the smell
communicate
of.
with your kitchen, like, I'm going to wake him up with bacon.
And you have
Start
gotta be
making
smart
bacon.
appliances.
Yes,
Yeah,
now
that's
that's a
a
smart
IoT
home.
thing.
Yeah.
Right. I bet you that there are already early versions of
Not
of those
far away.
products. Yeah. We saw a couple of refrigerators that we're not going to freaking talk about, but we LOL'd heartily at the Samsung TV that was placed in the middle of the refrigerator, the giant TV. I don't know what's the size
Your
of that thing?
your Pixel C?
Yeah, that's it. Just slap it on the fridge. No, so what was I going to move on to? The Nextbit Robin.
I
We
came
finally do
around
have to
to
talk
this.
about
I'm
smartphones
so
here for a second.
jelly I didn't get a chance to see this.
I am not a cloud guy at all, but I'm really feeling what they're doing with this.
So what are they doing? Steve, give us the brief.
So you get a 32 gigabyte storage on the phone here. When it starts to run low, Nextbit's cloud service starts moving apps that you don't use too often off onto its servers. You have 100 gigabytes of storage. Your least used apps get moved off first. This happens at night when you're charging it, so it's not interrupting you or using up your data. And then if you do need it later on, you just tap on the app. It's grayed out to let you know it's not there. It pulls it down from its servers and moves things on and off as needed. So it's supposed to be a very seamless experience, and from what they had to say, I'm kind of believing them.
I was surprised at how much I liked the hardware because it's got a very unique design, as we all know.
It's not
this
for
sort
everybody.
Of, yeah, it's
No,
a
it's
very boxy thing, but I love. We were talking to We were talking to all the people at Nextbit actually, but we were asking specific questions about the design. We're like, listen, this is sharp. This like
They're
on the
so
palm.
confident in this design too, which you have to respect.
We have to remember Scott.
Yeah,
you know,
Scott
Croyle is
ex HTC, ex One and Company.
So when I had the opportunity to talk to him at CTIA about the Nextbit Robin as well, so I learned that he joined HTC with the HTC Touch Diamond.
Yeah.
Yes, that's right.
So we've known HTC for the company's design since the Diamond.
Yep.
And ever since then, and he's been in charge of both user interface design and hardware design. So you notice
He
that
knows a thing or two.
What I
Yes.
love is his quote on this is that what if we're very straightforward and honest about what a phone is? It's a box.
Yeah.
I love
So
it.
let's make the best box we can make.
We don't have a curved edge screen. It's a rectangle. Make a phone a rectangle.
No, but you notice the user interface is different. It's
Yeah,
close to
hold on.
stock.
Well, before we talk about the interface, though, no. In addition to the box, though, despite the fact that there's so many friggin' right angles on the thing, and it's like it's a shoebox, he's put circular design elements on it. The speakers
Exactly.
are circular. The camera ports, the sensor ports are circular,
button,
and I love he used a descriptor that I found very interesting. He called it like it's almost a little naive. Like it's like they wanted to make it cute almost, but it's not cute. It doesn't quite cross over that threshold into like It's like it just softens it a bit.
And I really like the assertion they made that it's a phone that they designed for them and for what they like instead of really catering towards what.
Right, which is always so many people say that. They're like,
I
we
know they
wanted to
do.
build a phone that we wanted to carry. It's like, yeah, but all right, okay.
And naive, but I think follows through with the color choices as well, because
Yeah.
it's a look that really stands out. You can see there's the black, white, and this kind of tealish lime or mint green.
No, and this is a phone. This is the perfect phone for a case, but you wouldn't want to use a case with it.
Yeah, it's not like the same,
yeah.
the red, blue,
It's
yellow.
the thing is
other
it's
manufacturers.
unapologetic about both its design and its color options. Like it's like really pitch black or the green and the mint.
And the
Yeah,
software
mint, that's
emulates it too.
And the software emulates it as well.
I mean, sorry, the software goes hand in hand with it.
You know, I feel I'm just sad that there is no like Moto maker.
To make your own color
to make your own
combinations
color,
and stuff? Yeah.
because I feel that this hardware would like really take advantage of that.
I don't know. I respect that they didn't go that direction, though.
Really?
That they say, this is how we want the phone to look. There's a little variety, but it's the color scheme. You're going to associate this with Nextbit, with Robin,
Yeah.
and that's good when you're building a new brand.
What I did like, or I don't know if you want to segue or not to the user interface, because
please.
I love the elements of the user interface, like the navigation keys, the arcs and everything.
Yeah, there's just like a little gentle hump for
Yeah.
the multitasking, and then like
Those
another one
volume
for back.
buttons were nice, too.
Yeah, the
Ooh,
circular.
and I love that it has a separate sort of a pinch-in. I love the separate like sort of pinch-in window for the widgets. So the widgets
don't.
aren't. You don't.
I don't.
Well, see,
Because
'cause-
here's
we
what
got
it is, listeners. Like it's the user interface has now emphasized the app drawer and brought it to the front. So it's very much like the iOS springboard. It's a grid of icons. That's the center of the experience. To get to your widgets, you hold the multitasking button or you
Or you can
reverse
just pinch
pinch.
in. Yeah.
And then you have this sort of overlay that contains your widgets, but it's still this extra step of getting to your widgets that I don't like. And that's why I don't like iOS.
Well, for me on my phone, like on my personal phone, I have a separate page that is only just one calendar widget or an agenda list.
Me too.
Well, let's
Wait,
all
no,
just
wait,
make our phones like
wait a second.
Hayato.
that wasn't in the
This is new.
software.
This
This
is
is
new.
new. That wasn't
Yeah,
in the
they
software
made
experience that I saw at
options.
CTA.
I know, this is new.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what's killing me?
What?
This entire week, I should have had a calendar widget on my phone. It never occurred to
Okay.
me to put one on.
You
Okay,
gotta-
but
you gotta
wait
have
a
a
second.
calendar
One of the selling points that I liked is that you could actually choose. Is that still there?
You can choose what gets.
If you want an app tray design or if you want a non-app tray design like iOS.
I
No.
don't think that was there.
No, that's permanent now.
Well, I guess that didn't make
Yeah.
it.
What's
So-
frustrating to me though is that to get to your full app list, because you do still have that, you actually there's a floating little circular button that just stays sort of in like the lower right area,
Right.
and you have to hit that, which will then show you 3 buttons. You can either go to your archived apps, your
Or get the alphabetical list.
yeah, or you can get your alphabetical list. So it's a 2-step process to get to your all apps instead
no.
of just hitting a drawer.
I actually thought that all the apps were on the springboard, but whatever the detail is, they do let you use the Google Now launcher if you want. So you can do that. The bootloader is unlocked, and obviously the phone
Yeah,
is
you're
unlocked.
free to
Yes,
step
please,
away
the
from the
bootloader.
Yeah, you
whole
don't
cloud
have to
thing if
use
you
it.
want to.
And if you use the Google Now launcher, like things like app upload or app offloading is what they call it when they dump an app into the cloud that you don't use all the time, or photos that you don't look at. that's still all enabled. The animations aren't there, like it's a Google Now launcher, so it's disabled, like it's more conventional, but the core features of the phone are still in place.
Yeah.
So I think it's going to be fun. I'm really excited
I'm
about
looking
reviewing
forward
it,
to
and I
seeing that.
wasn't excited about reviewing it before, I'll be frank.
I was
Because I
excited.
thought it was a one-trick pony. I
Yeah,
was
but
like,
you didn't understand me. I told you it's a cool idea, and you were like,
No. I still think the idea has limited appeal. I really do. These guys are talking about building phones for a future with 5G and 6G networks, when like the cloud is a much bigger part of everything.
Yeah.
This is a very early
Cloud
form
is
of
pretty
that.
big now.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
But the
it's
access to it is still
when the
pretty
network
tough.
speeds, like the network
How's
speeds
your
right now.
connectivity been this week?
Exactly.
Actually, not too bad.
Well, they tried to restore like Pandora or something, an offloaded app, while we were in the demo, and it was taking like 4 minutes
Yeah.
because the networks here are slammed and whatever. But you don't have to be in Las Vegas in the middle of CES to have a slow network. You can be in freaking, where do you live?
Indianapolis.
Indianapolis.
But that's
You
the
know,
thing.
fringes-
That's the thing.
Oh,
I
that's a
mean-
major city.
Or you
Yeah,
can
the
be on
fringes
Sprint.
of some.
But that's the thing.
Or you
I
could be on
feel the company CEO made a point. It's very typical for people to be hoarders, for
Yeah.
people to hold a ton of applications that they're not going to use.
Yeah, that's
and
true.
so I feel that it's cool that a phone is smarter. That that the
Yeah.
phone notices what I use, what I don't use, and hey, if they disabled a specific, like I have a problem with storage. I live in a country where data speeds are terrible.
Yeah.
And I just could, for me, it's a problem to live with a 32 gig phone. So if the phone could be smart enough to do the work for me,
Right.
because we do that. We download games that we don't play.
No, it's true.
We do
But
it.
and it's not about the apps really so much as for me as the photos, because I just
Oh,
had
yeah.
this experience. Like, you guys are tired of hearing about this over and over, but like both my mother and my father, I had to get them each new phones this year because they had 16 gig phones and they were having to delete pictures in order to take new ones. And that's like the worst possible thing. It's like I have to discard old memories to make new ones.
Especially because we know it's so unnecessary.
Right, exactly. But but Google Photos, then you have to sync it, or like iCloud and all that stuff. You have to go and actively manage it, and that's what's
Right.
great about this phone is it does it for you.
You don't have to do
Just
it.
Like
That's
it
the cool
never
thing.
runs out of space.
And then the third thing is the fact that it's a work in progress.
Yeah.
Right
Yeah.
now it's storage. According to them, eventually it'll be battery life.
Well, and just a lot of how the storage works is going to get better. They're going to start introducing a video backup as well,
Yeah.
and they're going to tweak the algorithms for how the app management works. Maybe you need like a bigger buffer room. I think they said 1.5 gigabytes is the free space they're shooting for
Yeah.
before offloading. Maybe that doesn't work for you, in which case they're going to change things as time goes on. So it has the ability to grow.
And
Well,
it's not even just about managing a lack of storage or anything. Also, they brought up that it's also in the works to be they have plans and hopes to make it so that one day maybe you and your friend both have a Nextbit Robin. You can pick up your friend's phone, just sign into your to your account, and it just pulls in everything. It just makes a mirror.
that's
of your phone.
exactly what I was thinking of when I was talking
That
about
is
5G
the number
and
one
6G
theft
forward
concern
thinking.
in history.
No, but it's easy to secure that. But it's like, hey man, let me borrow your phone for like 15 minutes, and then if you have a super fast network connection and you can restore your phone in like 2 minutes, that makes a lot of sense.
Okay,
Like,
question:
sweet.
Did the
But I mean-
did the fingerprint scanner work on these demo units?
Yeah, it did.
Because it didn't work on.
Yeah, and it was
the
good, and it's
CTI.
side mounted like the Sony Xperia.
Well, yeah,
I
but
mean,
that's the thing. On the Sony Xperia, it's terrible.
That's
so.
good. It's pretty good on these.
But I
Okay.
mean, one thing that's important is, and one complaint that I think every reviewer has uttered in their time is, we want our smartphones to be smarter, and this is a demonstration of smartphones being smarter.
No doubt.
Amen,
So, and I also just wanted to make a note to our listeners that you can't see it, but every little noise in the background is killing Michael a little bit inside.
I want to say, if you've stuck with us this far through the god awful ambient sound, I am grateful to you. Thank you.
Hey man, I am loving this music, this
Yeah,
contemporary.
Hayato's grooving out. This is an audio only show, but if you could see Hayato dancing,
he's got his shoes off and everything.
Happy as a
Why
clown.
don't you make
right.
some more noise? I mean,
Yeah,
while this floor is at
just
it,
noise
why
it
not?
up.
Somebody throw something across
Actually,
the room.
these security guards have nice shoes on. Maybe we can get them a tap dance.
Guys, we mentioned before that we mentioned Motorola before. We should touch on this. This is a announcement out of Lenovo that they are no longer going to be
Wait.
using the Motorola brand name. They are
What is
going
Motorola? I don't know what that is.
They're going to be assigning Moto to their high-end phones, and I think they're going to retain the Vibe brand for the mid-range and low-end. So Moto will live on. The Batwing logo, I guess, will live on,
Yep.
is what Jules was reporting. But Motorola, as a brand,
Moment of silence.
Well,
as a mobile brand.
Motorola Mobility.
As
yes.
a mobile brand. 'Cause
Oh,
Motorola
yeah.
Solutions still exists.
right? Yeah.
But really, what recent phones have we seen the Motorola brand use prominently? Droids? and even then, not particularly.
And even then, not particularly.
Yeah, but
As a matter of
it's
fact, we
always
looked
been
at
Moto
Jaime's
G.
Moto 360 Sport,
Yeah.
and that just says Moto 360.
It doesn't
say
have
Motorola
the
anywhere
logo
on it.
exactly.
Yeah.
It
Yeah,
doesn't have
oh,
the
man.
backlink.
So
it's an important note.
yeah,
So
I think
it's like it's the same thing like when Nokia went away.
Nokia.
Or when not Nokia. Yeah, when
I feel
Nokia.
like we're just really taking offense to this because we've been paying attention to this for so long. We liked Motorola as a brand, but
Yeah.
to the consumer, Motorola, Moto, what's the difference?
Well, but that's the thing. You have to remember our age range. Sorry, 94, not including you. But you have to remember our range. I mean, we grew up. One of my first phones was a Motorola.
Dartac.
Yeah.
I mean, I had a ton of them. I actually took a nostalgic photo the other day from a phone store that has these, and I actually made that comment on Twitter. I feel sad. For me, today is a sad day in mobile.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah, Razr.
think about it. Just think about it. Which were the players that have us where we are? What were the players that excited us years ago? It was Motorola. It was Palm. It was Nokia. It was the compact iPad at its day. These products don't exist anymore. These brands don't exist anymore.
And that's just, and things are going to keep happening. The brands that are alive today in 10 years are going to be, some of them are going to be gone, others will have changed hands, and brand new ones that we've never, maybe Acer will be on top of the Liquid Jade Primo. It's just the device I happen to be looking at in the
Primo.
old front page
The
here.
thing is, primo in Spanish has a meaning.
What's it mean?
Cousin?
What's it mean?
Cousin.
Cousin?
Yeah.
The Acer Jade cousin.
But the thing is, over there we
cuz.
have our slang between each other, as we call each other.
Cuz?
We're beer drinking, and we're like primo.
Hey, I'm going to do that now. I'm going to do. Hayato, we're going to sub that in.
You're gonna ditch fam.
I'm going to ditch fam in favor of Primo.
That got played out quick.
Yeah. Well, the millennials,
I like
attention
94.
span and all that kind of jokey
I
stuff.
like 94.
94 is a good nickname. Let's talk about this tablet everyone's talking about. This is probably the most impressive thing at the show in terms of our traditional beat, if you ask me.
What?
Tell me if I'm wrong. The Samsung Galaxy TabPro S. Yes, I'm saying that right.
Did you get all the names right?
Yeah.
Well, I like the Tab S2, which
I don't like anything. A Samsung tablet has not impressed me
No.
in generations
Yeah.
or more. It seems like even if they're accompanying with the Note line, the accompanying smartphone would be good, like say the Note 4 or the Note 3 in terms of software. Their tablet contemporaries have always sort of disappointed me on the software side in terms of the responsiveness, the design, and that stuff. But the Galaxy Tab Pro S doesn't run Android. It runs Windows 10, and it's the full version of Windows 10. It's not Windows 10 Mobile, and so that's fine. Whether you prefer that or Android, that's not the discussion I really want to have.
It's not that.
It's like the hardware is beautiful.
You saw so?
It is super slim.
Would you like it
I
as
didn't
much if
see
it were Android?
I didn't
If
see
it were Android, would I like it as much?
That's a big question.
Yeah,
That
it
is
is
a big question.
I don't think I would, because I don't think I could feel like, because I still feel like Android doesn't
Okay.
fit on a 10.1 inch
that's
screen.
Not yet.
But what was the material, Michael?
Aluminum. Well, depending on who you listen to, it's either aluminum or magnesium alloy. It may be an aluminum,
But it's metal.
An
It's
aluminum
metal.
on a
It's
magnesium.
It's metal,
frame.
like the Tab S2. It's metal.
Yeah, it's metal, and the back is a matte finish composite.
I don't know. It's just Steven. You remember?
Super thin.
You remember last time that I was still contributing in news, and I had to leave my MacBook Pro for repairs at an Apple store.
yeah.
And what I did was I bought one of those Asus Transformer, tablets, running Windows 10, the full Blaze Windows 10, and I was like, I'm gonna try this out. I'm gonna try Windows 10 on a Core. It wasn't a Core M. It was an Atom processor tablet
Yeah.
to see how it goes, the full
Yeah.
experience.
Well, an Atom, yeah.
It
Setting yourself up for
was
disappointment here.
it was horrendous.
sure.
Atom Windows
Well,
on an
also,
Atom
at this point,
processor
it was probably Windows 8 or Windows
miserable.
8.1.
No, it was
10.
Windows 10, my friend. I know.
Yeah, but Windows 10 on an Atom processor, that's a horrible experience.
So here's the deal. I mean, I know that Microsoft is trying to sell the point that Windows is available in so many form factors, and that it's the same experience on the Surface Pro, whatever, and on these cheap tablets, but it's not.
Well, they're not. They've never said that. They've
No,
never
what
said
I'm
it's the same
saying is
experience.
what I'm saying is the whole difference of form factors, and that it's the same Windows 10 is what they tell you.
Isn't it?
But the thing is, what are the tasks of somebody that writes news? Think about it. It's opening browsers, looking for websites.
It's something that shouldn't be hard.
It's
even on
not
lower
something
end.
that shouldn't be hard. It's the typical workload of somebody that does, that goes to college.
Right.
And this is their college
yeah,
computer.
so this is the shitty time you had on that other tablet. I completely get that.
So what were the specs on this?
This thing, I mean, the specs are, it's an Intel Core M3, I think.
Okay, well that's not that bad.
Which is better than an Atom, but it's still not. It's not like an i5. It's not like an i7.
No.
Like you get the service.
It's not designed to be.
So, but it looks like that in appeal because it comes on the first glance. It looks like a Surface competitor because it has this keyboard. And the keyboard, whether it's good or not, is up to debate. I think some people had some issues with the key size or whatever. It felt great to me. I love that it comes with the keyboard in the box.
Yeah, that's
that
really,
is
really
nice.
nice
Right?
point.
Because for years we've been saying like these tablets are going to go, like the Surface line. It's like this is great, but you need a $150 keyboard to make the most out of it. So
How's the keyboard
that
feel?
sucks. I think the keyboard feels really good. The keys are big. The key travel isn't quite as nice
It
as
never
on
is.
some other things, but
I think typing on the keyboard feels really nice, but setting it up just feels so it feels flimsy.
it's a little awkward setting up. They use magnets and a dedicated hardware connector at the bottom of the tablet, but like the cover on the back covers the entire back of the tablet, so like you have to sort of slip it into place in a way that's a little tough to
Isn't
describe.
it kind of like the iPad Pro keyboard?
I don't know.
we don't
Apple
know.
hasn't shipped us
How about
our
the
iPad
Pixel
Pro
C?
keyboard yet. I don't know.
No, it does not at all compare to the Pixel C.
No?
Pixel C
in
is
the keyboard
just
structure.
best
no.
in class in terms
Your
of
refrigerator
that.
TV, I mean.
Yeah, the refrigerator TV is great for that. No, and that's what I was hoping for. When I approached the Samsung tablet, the TabPro S, right? I was hoping for as crisp and easy an experience of like attaching the keyboard as on the Pixel C, and you just can't get close.
Yeah,
the
no,
Pixel
this
C
is-
is so good.
This was a janky little setup for the keyboard. The rest of the tablet is totally
Just
fine.
sounds amazing, and the
But
keyboard
the
itself is
keyboard-
amazing.
Yeah, it's
But-
good.
No, it's good. But the method in which they're connected takes some practice. But
Yeah.
it does give you two options: 63 degrees for desk working, and then a lean back way for like lap action.
What an
A lap
arbitrary
action.
number.
Lap action. And the display, I gotta say, is AMOLED, so it is beautiful, and I love AMOLED. And
screen-
AMOLED
yeah,
at
it was
10.1.
gorgeous.
Is it 10.1 or am I lying? Is it like 12 something?
I thought it was 12.
Yeah, I think it is 12 something or other. Why would it be in the shelf post?
No, it's right there. It's 12.
Where is it? 12 inches, thank you. And 2160 by
QHD.
1440. Yeah. So anyway, it's gorgeous. I like it. And by the way, since Jaime was talking about the crappy experience of Windows 10 on an Atom, this ran really well. And it was, and I'm talking about the floor units, the ones that have been beat to hell. It runs Windows 10 really well.
So did the Seuss transformer when I pulled it out of the box.
Oh yeah.
It was,
Well, a little bug in there.
dude. Okay,
Yeah.
like for example, one of the so they sent me 2 units, by the way, because I
Okay.
felt that one had a problem.
Yeah.
The display
And
would
what,
just
it
go ballistic.
it runs an Atom. Like, I'm not even caring. I don't really, you know what I mean? I had an HP NVX2 that ran on an Atom, and I hated every second of that crappy device.
It was also HP.
Oh. We walked up to HP guys the other day and asked them if they had the Falcon, and they were like, "We cannot confirm or
or
deny the
What's a
existence
Falcon?
of a product called
become,
Falcon."
They've become such corporate suits that they become boring.
Well,
They used to be.
always
Did they used to
been-
be cool?
Yeah. Like,
No.
what's
Well,
it
okay,
back-
they used to be cool, and they've killed pretty much every company we care about. Palm, Compact, think about it.
All murderers. All right, guys, we're gonna wrap it up here, but we definitely don't want to leave without talking about what? What am I forgetting? Different colored Gear S2s. Okay.
They were pretty.
Yeah.
Should we talk favorite stuff?
I think we should talk favorite stuff. I'm gonna start with favorite stuff in a second, so you guys start thinking about that. Dowd, go ahead.
Whew, for what? For favorite stuff?
No, not for favorite stuff. You had something to say, I thought.
No.
Oh, you didn't. No, I did not. So we'll touch on those Windows phones. The Acer Liquid Jade Primo feels like a Galaxy S3 in the hand. It's really glossy. It's
Am I
really
crazy, or
plasticky,
did we not talk about Huawei yet?
but it looks really good.
did
Oh, we
not.
didn't talk about Huawei.
Okay, see, that's what I was going to
Which
say.
was the biggest event of the show.
I was going to say, what about
For mobile,
Huawei?
for mobile.
Okay,
And then
so
I
it was the
thought,
biggest
no,
rehash
there's no way we
event
could
of
have
the
gotten
show.
this far without talking about Huawei.
Yeah. Well, you know why I forgot it, and Jaime, you said
Because
it.
it's in a
There was
category by its own?
Well, no, there was a lot of rehashing going on. Huawei already announced the Mate 8 like 2 months ago. Announced the Mate 8 like 2 months ago. This was their official coming out party for it, though. We all, well, not all of us, but most of us got a unit. We're going to be
Some
reviewing
of
it,
us
of
kind of
course.
fell asleep, yes.
No, actually, and I wanted to say that Huawei. Okay, good thing about Huawei is their presentations are getting tighter. they're not spending as much time like explaining what a volume key is and why it
Right.
should be metal. You know what I mean? Like they're getting tighter. Their presentations are getting more relevant. The bad thing is, and their hardware is fantastic. What a beautiful phone that Mate 8 is, right?
So good hardware.
Oh, they're stunningly good at hardware. The thing is, on the software side, and we're not going to talk about UI because I think that's subjective. Hayato and I disagree. He thinks it's pretty okay looking. I think it still looks
Yeah.
like iOS, Android. You know, I don't know what you guys think.
Face
Well,
looks like
I mean,
iOS, Android.
It seems very much like the other Chinese phones that I've used, like the
Right.
Mi Note and whatnot. So it's like it's basically the thing that you have to get over is the fact that there's no app drawer.
Yeah.
So I mean, once you get past that, you're good.
Yeah.
The thing that I get that I get a little bent out of shape on is that they feel like Samsung from 3 years ago in the way that they're adding all these additional features that are fine if you want to add the features that no one's ever going to use. Okay, but the triggering mechanisms for these features are like to
The
crop,
knuckles.
to
Wait a
crop a
second.
video like you knock twice on the
Wait a
display
second.
with
So-
your knuckles.
So you do not
With two knuckles.
So you're not
specifically.
accustomed to punching your phone?
Yeah, weird, right?
Yeah.
No, like I am.
Because I would see Michael being like, bah,
Bip,
Oh, he was beating the thing in the
Yeah,
I was
show
really
floor.
knocking.
Watch this as you intuitively use the back of your opposite hand
Seriously.
to knock twice and then twist your arm in a counterclockwise
and this is the same
motion.
thing they did at IFA when
Yeah.
they were what was that, the Mate S?
The Mate S, yeah.
When they did the Mate S, and it's like, look, we have Force Touch before Apple does because it's like 2 days before the Apple event or whatever. And then but what did they use Force Touch for? To like do screenshot crops. So not only are you tracing your finger to to make the custom crop area, but you're pressing as hard as you can while you do it.
It's a
Like, it makes
dexterity
no
test is
sense.
what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Well,
I really don't like what they're doing with their software.
The thing that pissed me off most about the Mate S or the Mate 8 in particular was that they're not only adding stupid gestures that nobody really needs, like the double knock with two knuckles thing. They got rid of their good gestures. Like the Mate S became one of my favorite phones of last year very quickly, largely because of the fingerprint scanner. Because what you could do was it was one of the fastest fingerprint scanners, probably the fastest I've ever used.
Yeah, it was nuts fast.
But on top of that, when you're in the phone, one of everybody's biggest complaints about a big phone is that reaching the notification drawer all the way up top is stupid.
Dumb.
You gotta reach up there with a thumb and drop the phone,
Yeah.
or use another hand.
Yeah.
On the Mate S, you can swipe down on the fingerprint scanner, which is on the back where your finger is anyway. You swipe down with your finger, and it pulls it down for you no matter where you are on the phone.
It's not on the. It's not on the.
It's
8?
not on the Mate 8.
Well, we have to figure out if it can be enabled.
It can't be.
Yeah.
We already looked for it in the software.
But they're
It is
Maybe
not
then, I don't know,
there.
maybe we can hack it away at it.
Yeah.
They had some other stuff as well. The watches for ladies. They
the
actually.
lady watch.
Yeah, when I was writing the script, I was like, this sounds like the gaudiest thing ever.
Yeah.
But man, no, they actually look pretty good in person. I like them. They are
It
still
looked
too
pretty
big.
good. We talked about that. It looked pretty good, and we talked about that with some of our other colleagues at PabCom, I think it was. And Nicole Scott in particular was very quick to point out that this watch is actually bigger than the previous generation, so it's still not going to work with wrists that
Well, it's a little taller. Like it's the same watch, but you're right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's still
It's a
still a
thicken.
But I told her,
stack
it's
of
the
stack of
solution's
dollars.
easy,
As
just get fat.
Dan from The Verge put it, I think. Yeah, it's still big. And then we also had the gold Nexus 6P, another re-announcement.
Yep.
Because you could buy one like when they went on sale.
We couldn't,
right?
but some people
In
could.
Japan, you
Some
saw.
Oh, in
people
Japan. Okay, so
Yeah.
okay, but Jaime has one here. He likes the look of it. If I'm reading his expression right.
No, yeah, it's I like the tint. It looks a little like. So, for example, I hate the gold tint of the iPhone.
Right. Yeah.
I
like it.
despise
though.
it.
I really like.
But
it.
I like this looks a lot like the Oppo tint, where it looks a little rose gold from an angle.
Yeah, but it's still like pronouncedly yellow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like very yellow.
Yeah, it's not pink.
Yeah. We had the GX8. You did the hands-on with the GX8.
Yep.
Good times.
Yeah.
Great
Yeah.
oldies. And the media pad with the big old speakers on it.
Yeah, the speakers, they actually sounded, even from the show floor though, like, it's obvious you can't tell from the show floor.
Right.
But they were really cutting through all that noise from the background, so I bet they're going to be pretty great when you actually get them in a normal room.
That reminds me of trying to get the sound demo from the LETV phone, which was not cutting through the sound in that room.
Okay, so it's LETV or LETV?
No, it's LETV, and before everyone jumps in the effing comments to correct me, yes, in Mandarin the le is well, I can't make that sound, but it's le TV. But in the United States, they made a conscious decision to go with LETV for the brand. At least that's what we were told at the booth. So that's what we're going with.
Learn it, love it, live with it.
Right.
Either we're
I don't want
right
to talk
or we
about
were
the
lied
phone.
to.
Yeah. So we reported on the phone. We don't have time to talk about it. The Jade Primo feels higher end. It looks higher end than the 950 until you pick it up. Alcatel One Touch has another Windows phone that's the Fierce XL is for T-Mobile. There's a lot of loose ends. There's a lot of stuff to check out at Pocketnow.com. We're not going to talk about it because we got to get out of here. Dowd, you want to kick us off for our most significant or favorite or most hated products of the show?
We already talked about the glasses. Those are my favorite.
Really?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, which is, I think Hayato put it earlier. He said, if that's the best thing that you saw at a trade show, that's not a good thing.
Keeping in mind that our beat is very narrow, so there was
yeah.
stuff to be seen here outside of our reporting.
There was actually in the drivers, and we might actually take one of these for a test drive. Over in the automotive area, there was a device that's designed to help stop distracted driving. And it's actually a box that you put in your car that divides your car up into zones so that as a driver, you can't do anything on your phone. But if you hand your phone over to the person in the passenger seat, suddenly you can email and text.
You know
and
what
stuff
people are
like
going to
that.
do. People just hold the phone out and text it
Right.
away.
But you know what? It
run
got me.
themselves right
It
up
got
the
me
road.
thinking about your complaint with the Moto X, where it has a driving mode and you're on the bus.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden it starts shouting its text messages out to you.
Right.
This wouldn't be a problem in this particular case, even when you're the passenger in a car. So yes, you can hold your phone over to the right-hand side, but let's face it. If you're putting this device in your car, you've bought into this philosophy, so you're not going to do that.
Nice. Good call, Dad. But glasses is the official.
Glasses is my real answer, though.
Jaime?
Well, it's pretty much confirmed that CES is not our show.
Yeah, well, and it's been getting that way.
It's confirmed. Like, CES is not for mobile. And I think that companies are either doing that deliberately because they want to they want to steal the thunder of MWC, or they want to do their own events, which is what a lot of companies are doing. But I didn't like anything. I mean, the most...
Come on.
Like, from our scope,
You liked the
nothing.
Vive.
Oh, the Vive, obviously, but it's not something that was
counts.
announced here.
Yes, it was.
It was the next generation.
The Vive Pre was
Right,
announced
okay,
in the
fine.
E3
The
too.
Vive would be it, and second would be the Casio watch, just because I'm into fitness.
Okay.
Sure.
Yeah.
No, that's
some stuff to work with
legit.
there.
You like
Yeah.
stuff.
But then
All right.
everything else, it's like, what?
They're taking the hotel apart around us. We gotta keep
Falling
moving
down
on.
on us.
Steven?
I loved seeing this Project Tango demonstration. I know Tango's been
nice.
around for a couple of years now,
Nice.
but getting to see, augmented reality, any phone can do that. You print out little targets or something. How well this works in any environment, how it senses stuff. They were scanning the crowds and making 3D maps of us as we stood there, and now this is coming out in a smartphone version for commercial release under $500. I'm really excited to see what Lenovo can do with this.
Cool.
Nice. Hayato?
I mean, like we said, there wasn't a whole lot of things within our coverage spectrum here. I think my favorite thing that I saw here, the thing I'm most excited about that I'll be leaving with is, well, I'm not leaving with the product, but the HTC Vive.
We could go
of
break
course.
into the showroom, I think.
Oh, yeah.
Security's lax.
We could skip
Actually,
that party.
gonna
Heck,
take one of those
Vive, that's
fancy
just down the
computers,
hall.
too.
That would be
Yeah.
just a
What?
latte.
So Vive.
The Vive is probably my favorite thing that I've experienced here. Although if we're talking strictly of sort of newer products, I guess this is still just another sort of re-announcement or re-demonstration. I really, really like seeing the Nextbit Robin.
Come on. Well, you're gonna answer once and then take my answer?
Okay, here, I'll give you a better answer to that. The electric Nextbit Robin, the Kickstarter,
The Kickstarter edition that you
one.
can't get because you
It's
didn't
so
Kickstart it.
pretty.
All right.
I want that color
That's
on
the
everything.
green and black.
But that's it.
Yeah, that's the blue and...
the blue and black. Yeah.
That's the blue and
Yeah,
black.
it's blue.
It's
It's
the dark
It's
blue.
totally blue.
And again, I guess I made the mistake of not saying Nextbit Robin because I saw it at CTIA.
Right.
And-
You know?
I gotta be honest, this is not a phone for me. I don't care about running out of storage. I use cloud storage for everything. I never go past 32 gigs, so it is not the phone for me. but it's my favorite phone that I've seen in a long time for everybody else. It's a very, very cool product, and even beyond the phone itself, I want to see its software kind of trickle down into other phones, just with lower storage for more of the entry market. I don't know that that's going to happen, but that's something I would really, really like to see, and that's probably one of the things that made me like the Nextbit visit that we had so much.
So you have to change your answer now?
Well, I was going to say the Robin because that was the thing. I miss getting excited about a smartphone, even though it hasn't been that long. I think it's only been a month or two since I reviewed something where I was like, cool, but at a trade show, it's
dude,
tough.
You were so stoked on the 950 XL.
Oh, yeah, what a piece of artwork. No, but so I have to say Vive again. This is not going to surprise anybody, but at the same time, I do think that Vive has a tough row to hoe, as they might say in your hometown, friend.
Not mine.
94.
I've not heard a single person in my life say that phrase.
No, but I think it's difficult. I think we've seen a lot of difficulty in adapting to the wire. We're going to see an uphill struggle, and people who just have to install things in their living room and probably pay a premium for this thing. So I think it's going to be interesting to watch, but none of that is really new. You know, we talked about all this challenges with the Vive at MWC, and here we are almost a year later. So I think that just kind of recaps the fact that CES is often a show of, has this year at least been a show of recaps.
Yeah.
And that's okay. I didn't get to see the Robin at CTIA because I didn't go, so I'm glad that CES is still here.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's no question that, there's a couple reasons why people might be disappointed. But at the same time, guys, I saw smart glass technology that's going to usher in probably the future of smart optics.
Yeah.
I saw a phone that never runs out of storage space. I saw the most beautiful Windows tablet I've ever seen here. I saw a new health solution. I saw shoes with Bluetooth crap inside of them. I saw an app that lets you talk to vets when your cat don't know why your cat's puking. I saw we saw sex aids that are really, really popular. Apparently, we saw a remote.
They're going to make us useless, is what they're going to do.
Yeah, we saw. Well, no, that's not it. It's
Probably the optimism that I have is actually a sort of a sarcasm point, but there was a lot of wearables for fitness here.
Yeah.
A lot.
Yeah.
And
we didn't even talk about the new Fitbit.
The new Fitbit, which I can't wait to get for review, hopefully.
Yeah.
But to be honest with you, there were a lot of wearables for fitness, a lot that were really bad.
Sure.
Really, really,
and that's
really
happen.
bad.
That's
and so I'm just optimistic. I'm going to have a lot of content for the Pocketnow Fitness segment.
Yeah.
But a lot of it will be, these products have still far to go.
Yeah.
And that's.
I saw a lot
nice
of
to
cool
know.
products from startups.
Yeah.
Like small companies that are struggling just to
Go-getters.
Yeah, they're go-getters, and they really are. And some of them were VR-based, some of them were mobile-based, some of them were accessory-based. But these accessories are really solving a lot of problems. They're probably not sexy enough for us to talk about on a podcast, but they're definitely something that are worthy of coverage. And I think, hopefully, if I've done my job right, we will be covering.
I hope so.
Yeah.
Well, guys, you hear the music. It's not getting any better.
You're gonna hear
And
us
the
roar.
hotel is not.
Hear me roar.
It's not
Come
getting
on.
any quieter. So we got to get out of here, guys. Thank you very much for joining me for a wonderful roundtable edition. Thank you all
we
for
kind
joining
of had to
us.
because you drove.
And you're right. I dictated that this was to happen.
We're going to have
And
a
thanks to
lovely
you all
problem with
for
copyright
listening to us. No, we're not going to run it on YouTube, so it's good. That's going to do it for the Pocketnow Weekly, folks. Listen, CES may be over, but the conversation continues. On Twitter, we are Stephen Schenk, StephenSchehnck. Jules Wong is our podcast producer. He's at Point Jules. Jaime is at Jaime_Rivera. That's Jaime, JAIME_RIVERA. Adam Dowd is Dead Technology, spelled like it sounds. Hayato Huseman is Hayato Huseman. Figure that out if you want.
Spelled how it sounds.
And I am at Captain 2 Phones. That's Captain, the number 2 Phones. Pocketnow is also there on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and Google+. And it all comes together like authentic showgirls, 2 a.m. in and out
And Gillies.
journeys, and Gillies. At pocketnow.com.
Like a Gillies waitress and a writing bowl.
Folks, if you enjoy the weekly... All right, listen, I have to say, Dad, that actually happened. He's not just making an off-color
No,
joke.
I am not.
That happened before our very
It
eyes,
did happen.
friends.
And it
If
was
you enjoy the
wonderful.
weekly, we want you to post about it so we can keep doing the weekly. Share it with your friends who love mobile tech. Share it with strangers by telling everyone on iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, wherever else podcast reviews are left on the web or in the world. Did you just almost sneeze?
No, you're
I'm
just tickled.
Okay. And finally, you can write us for a chance to get your questions on the air at podcast@pocketnow.com. Thanks to our sponsor at D-Brand. And thanks to you, our listeners and viewers, for keeping us on the air since 2012. As always, the Pocketnow Weekly will be back with more mobile tech talk next week.